Alright, I wanted to tell you all about my experience putting the frame together for this block press. Everything seemed to go together very well for this one. One thing that I ran into is just on the main cylinder. After I'd put everything together, you see the main cylinder down there, the shaft at the bottom, I had it just tacked in after I'd extended it out, and I'd put shims in the top to make sure I had it at the right place, where I thought it was in the right place, and it pretty much pushed it to the outside of the hole that I had pre-cut in the steel for that shaft. And then after I tacked it together and kind of cycled it a little bit to see where the main cylinder was coming up without the drawer, I realized that it was the main cylinder and the press foot was actually coming up a little too high. It was actually coming up to the point where if it was raised all the way up, the drawer wouldn't be able to slide past it. And so what I ended up doing is that I felt like I needed to lower it somehow, and the way I decided to do that was that I had access to a lathe, and we decided that it's probably going to be the easiest thing just to take the press foot apart, and I faced one of these plates in the press foot and I took about 1/8 of an inch material off of it, and so you can see now where it's coming to the right height. I wasn't sure if it would settle out a little bit after running a few cycles of high pressure, but I'm not sure if it did settle out that much at all, and so that worked out pretty well. You know, if I did this again, I would think of maybe some way I could do something to make the main cylinder height adjustable, but it would only need just 1/4 of an inch either way, and I was thinking about doing a way to do that with shims or something like that, and I'm sure there's a few different ways to do it. It's just, you know, that's something that would add a few extra parts and a little bit more complication, but that's something I would consider doing. I don't have any big ideas about the best way to do that right now, but those are just my thoughts. Everything else went together really fast. You know, we just kind of put this together and used a frame and square and levels and that kind of thing to get it as close as we reasonably were able to, and it's just it seemed to work out pretty well. I think I mentioned before that the drawer height, I've kind of played around with the adjustment of these plates that hold up the drawer, and I've played around with the height a little bit. At first I had it to where it was really tight in between here when the drawer it didn't have much clearance at all, and it worked out. It actually started to gall a little bit, started to bind, and so I dropped it down to where there's almost 1/8 of an inch clearance in that drawer when it slides back and forth, and that seems to work really well. You can probably see just a little bit of the clearance that's in the top right there, and the only effect that's going to have some extra clearance like that is you might be able to see it at the top of the block. You may have just a little bit of lip at the top of the block or something. This nothing that you can't just scrape off by hand or something like that. But that is the main part that I was going to let you know about the frame.